All right, you guys, good morning. Let's get into these animations that Trump appeared in going back to the 1980s. And we're going to see if any of this history of Trump in animated comic strips and TV shows foreshadowed the future. Now, what we're looking for here is pattern recognition. And some of this stuff is simply unbelievable. Like, for instance, this cartoon. This comic strip from 1989. It's called Bloom County comic strip. And here's where we get our first clue that all is not right with Trump. That he may in fact be the host body of a disembodied spirit. Now, at first glance, there's nothing to see here. But if you look here, he is hit by an anchor in front of the Twin Towers. This then destroys his body. At this point, his brain is transplanted into a cat. Now, you guys will remember that we had made all these cat connections to Trump. We had already found them independent from this animated research that was given to us by Katie. We talked about how he was depicted in this trailer from The Electric State, a trailer that had been filmed long before Butler, Pennsylvania. But yet, what I'm going to show you next, we're going to play this in slow motion. A cat, which is Donald Trump, is shot through the right ear against the backdrop of Iwo Jima, which is exactly what would happen months after this was filmed. It was literally channeling what had not happened. Let's play this back. There's the cat. There you see it shot through the right ear. I want to be clear here. The right ear in the exact position we are told Donald Trump was shot. Then, there you go. You saw it. Then we see Iwo Jima on the right. You cannot make this up. Now, this discovery should have went viral. Unfortunately, we live in an era where the core truths are never, ever realized by the masses. The cat shot through the right ear, the flag of Iwo Jima. The cat then stands up and throws the flag as an arrow to try to hit this helicopter. There it is right there, holding up the flag of Iwo Jima. Now, where are we going with this? Well, what does this brain transplant suggest? It suggests twinning or Gemini, other aspects of Trump we had uncovered. Now, you can actually read a level deeper into this scene. Trump in the harbor, hit by an anchor. Are you ready for this? I hope you are. Because Hormuz literally means anchorage. There it is, right on your screen. Hormuz means anchorage, a bay or a cove. So, even this first comic strip from 1989 shows the sinking of Donald Trump from Hormuz, the anchor. Now, what could the Twin Towers represent? Well, everything Trump does is kind of a copy of holy things. There's a reason for this that is yet to play out fully. I think there's going to be an entire change in our reality centered around Donald Trump. We've always known that the Twin Towers were a metaphor for the crucifixion. You had Building 7 in the middle and the two towers on the outside, which are the two thieves. Of course, a lot of money was stolen that day on 9/11. We also believe that 9/11 was possibly the true birthday of Jesus Christ, though nobody really knows. But when the towers came down and were turned to dust, that was symbolic. And one single sulfur molecule, the One World Trade Center, was erected in its place. Sulfur is what destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. the crowned serpent. The serpent was crowned with the sulfur molecule. And then we found the giant sulfur molecule across the aerial landscape of the United States and Google Earth. Now, let's get into some of this other stuff here, because there are many, many more depictions of Trump that overlap things that we'd already discovered, independent from this investigation into the animated appearances of Trump. I will try my best to give you the name of the cartoon, the episode, and the year. Let's get started with the summary that Katie put together. Now, where it's circled, those are actual cartoons, and the rest of it are comic strips. And we're going to go through the summary, and then she's broken these down even further. We're going to start at the top here. Mr. Frump in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, the Fantastic Mr. Frump. This was all the way back in 1981. Here's J. Portman Plump and Plump Towers, The Real Ghostbusters, Deadcon 1, Season 2, Episode 49, aired 11/19/87. Now, this was the halfway point to 9/11, so that will be interesting. Again, she's going to break these down further in a little bit. Here's Donald Trump and Alf Tales, Elves of the Shoemaker, Season 2, Episode 3, aired on 9/30/89. Here's Mr. Trump Card in Ducktales, Blue Collar Scrooge, Season 3, Episode 11, aired 11/9/89. So there's 9/11 backwards. Interesting. McDonald Crump. Okay, so how are we seeing this cross back over? Well, everything Trump does is McDonald's. We've had half a dozen McDonald's sightings with Trump in our modern timeline. This one goes back to 1990 in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. All these are cartoons here. Looks like Donald J. Lofty, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles / the Evil Turtle from Dimension X. This was in 1990. Donald Lofty again in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Big Zip Attack. Interesting. That was on 10/6/1990. Donald Lofty again, Rebel Without a Fin, on 10/13, October 13th, 1990. Here's Ronald Grump in Tiny Toon Adventures, Pollution Solution. This was February 14th, 1991. Donald Trump in Rugrats, Ruthless Tommy, aired on 9/22/91. And then in Space Cats, multi-billionaire Rocketeller Frump, so like Rockefeller. Mysterious Missing Guests. This was on 11/3, very close to the 5th of November. Interesting, like a portal. 91. Now, we're just summarizing. We're going to get into more detail on these. Here we go. Donald Trump, Trump Tower. We covered this one, Tiny Toon Adventures, 13-something. If you missed that one, you really need to take a look at it. We just decoded that a few days ago. Here's Trump Tower. The Critic, Trump Tower's recurring location throughout the series, including the pilot episode, which aired on January 26, 1994. Trump Trapezoid, Futurama, Hell is Other Robots, aired May 16th, 99. Donald Trump in South Park, The Entity. This was in 2001. Wow. And here's the last summary page before we get into the details. Donald Trump and American Dad, Threat Levels, aired May 1st. Highest day of Illuminati sacrifice in 2005. Here's Ronaldo Rump, Biker Mice from Mars. And this aired 2006 to 2008. Tronald Dump Tower in Planet Sheen, The Boy Next Dorcas. 10/9/2010. Notice the 10/9 date keeps coming up, which is 19 backwards numerically. Tronald Dump in Planet Sheen, To Chill a Mocking Blurg. That was 8/17/2011. And the last one, Donald Trump, The Simpsons, Hardly Kirking. Oh, that's interesting. Like Charlie Kirk. That aired February 17th, 2013. So, let me check with you guys and we'll get into some detailed analysis of everything that we just summarized. Let's go back. Where are you? Where are you? There you are. Make sure we got good sound. It appears so. All right, let's see. Yeah, I believe that there's some kind of disembodied spirit business going on with Trump. Okay, quick sound check. And then we'll keep going. Now, I've never seen this level of predictive programming. Now, of course, other presidents were not like actors and things like this, or billionaires before, before in their previous life, before their presidency. So you're not going to see this with a lot of other people. Like now, how about Ronald Reagan? If I were to look back in some of the roles that Ronald Reagan was in, or cartoons he was depicted in, we might find stuff like that. But right now we're talking about Trump because he is the president. So let's keep going with this. All right. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 1987 / The Evil Turtle from Dimension X. Season 4, Episode 15. This aired on 9/22/1990. So that's the eve of 9/23. Let's see what is going on here. Walking through the sewers, turtles come across a construction crew led by Fenton Q. Could this be the early clue of fentanyl? Fenton Q. Hackenbrush, a man that works for Donald J. Lofty Enterprises, has offered to refurbish the city's entire sewer system in exchange for the rights to build luxury condos down there. So the sewer system could be the swamp, right? Bebop and Rocksteady created an evil mutant turtle named Slash and sent him through a portal to Earth. Wow, so the portal. April O'Neil mistook Slash for one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then had to run for her life after confronting him. Here he's seen destroying the Freedom Bell. So Trump did destroy freedom. Wow. Twinning. Here's some twinning. Hackenbrush hired men to dress up as the Turtles to commit crimes around the city to destroy their reputation. Donald J. Lofty finds out what Fenton Q. Hackenbrush was up to and fires him. He then thanks the Turtles for saving the city. Wow, that's a great synopsis. Let's go to this next one here. We've got about 15 of these. Here's Biker Mice from Mars. 2006 reboot. Episode 13 aired on 11/25/2006. Biker Mice from Mars. So there's a bat named Einstein. Episode begins with a rat named Stoker in one of his secret labs in an abandoned mine shaft. He was about to work on his regenerator machine, a directed energy weapon, when a lizard character shows up and causes trouble. The lizard reports back to Ronaldo Rump. So here's the Trump character. You can see the hair. Ronaldo Rump, to say he's completed the task of trapping Stoker so Rump could then capture him. The lizard coughs and spits up a little, and Rump says to him, "Maybe you should see a doctor." Whoa, look at this. Here's the... Whoa! Rump tells the lizard to bring Stoker to him. The lizard demands at first he double his pay for the task. Rump pulls out a credit card with 201 encoded on it. 2001 or 201. Let's see how that works. Now we know that 555 is 666. So there's some of that on here. And I guess the 00001 could mean something, but the Gold Express card. Let's keep reading here. The lizard doesn't want credit, demands cash. When the lizard goes to retrieve Stoker, the biker mice from Mars travel down inside a bat cave to try to locate Stoker. First, one of them makes a comment about being able to breathe freely. So remember, there was a coughing incident up here. So this is all like COVID-19 predictive programming. So he's got this backpack on so he can breathe. The lizard coughs and spits up, and Trump says you should see a doctor. And then they talk about breathing freely. Let's keep reading here. During a short fit of rage, Ronaldo Rump rips off his hairpiece, appearing to be bald for a moment. In the next scene, the lizard mentions a final resting place and then coughs again. There's a twinning moment where the mouse named Vinny dressed himself in Stoker's clothing to trick Ronaldo Rump. Episode ends with a quote from Stoker saying, "We all have our secrets. Bats' hidden labs." So the hidden lab could be like the Wuhan lab. Wow, let's go to this next one. More Biker Mice from Mars, another episode. This one was from 2006 to 2008. Continuation from the 93 to 96 Biker Mice from Mars episodes. So again, we meet Ronaldo Rump as he's playing on his golf course in the show's second episode. Rump is the main recurring villain for the entire series. Then he heads back to Rump Towers, where he uses his regenerator machine to demolish a building and instantly replace it with a hotel of 2. So we've long suspected that a directed energy weapon is what turned the Twin Towers into dust. So there could be something to this. Here's Rump Towers. He has sharks and fish that swim around the floors and walls like custom-built aquarium. Latest breaking news, Rump Towers. Whoa, it's shaped like a serpent, his tower. It's like a yellow brick road, maybe. He has sharks and fish, swim around. So here's his throne. Okay, let's go to the next one. Got about 12 more to go. I guess these are the Garbage Pail Kids. All of the appearances of Trump in the Garbage Pail Kids card collection. Let's look through some of these. Maybe something here. Let's get this zoomed out for you guys. Okay. Whoa, 1201. This has a date of January 20th. Whoa, 2017. Okay, so that's the inauguration date, but he was already president in 2017. I don't know when these cards came out, but if they came out before his presidency, this would be significant. Look at this. He's got this China on his back. Whoa. Now, if you didn't know, Trump is actually in China right now. We got to go through these cards, you guys. Okay, so we all know this one, Global Domination Donald. Remember, he was with the Saudis with the swords, and they were holding the globe. So that happened. Washington Waste. He's filling the swamp, it looks like here. Whoa, when did these Donald Trump... Let's look this up, because now I'm curious. When did Donald Trump Garbage Pail Kids come out? Okay, so what? Wait, what? 2000. Okay, there were some in 2016. Whoa. In 2017. Political parody cards during the 2016 campaign. And then there were some that came out in 2017, the first 100 days. These must be from the first 100 days. Let me check with you guys, see if we're good. Okay, we're good. Cool, we're not getting thrown off the internet today. Whoa, let's keep going. Okay. Now, so this is obviously a play on Donald Trump's Doge cuts. And he defunded PBS, which is Elmo. So he killed Elmo. Okay. Here's Trump as the clown. As the Joker. And we know this to be true. He's holding his cell phone, just texting and posting, probably. Here's... Whoa. Now this would be absolutely prescient. Because this looks like the White House. Except the wings are taken off of the White House. This had not happened yet. Trump was not talking about redoing the ballroom back in 2017 when these cards came out. So this is interesting. Both of the wings are demolished and there's a crane here. So that you could look at that as somewhat prescient. Okay, here's Donald Trump's hairspray. We the people. He's using the Constitution as toilet paper. Now remember, during Trump's first term, he was not really criticized for running over the Constitution. That didn't come till his second term. So that's absolutely prescient. Here is Trump building the wall. That did happen. Who's this Superman character? Oh, this must be... It says G on his shirt. Whoa. And remember the devil horns that we saw over Trump's head? When did that happen? Well, here it is right here. Trump time, it says. On Time magazine cover. See, Garbage Pail Kids, Two-Faced Trump. There's the Gemini aspect and China. Whoa. Who's on the left there, you guys? Help me out with that. What flag is that? Is that Japan and China? I'm unsure. Okay, so I'll go in the chat and see who understands what that means. Okay, hold on. Okay, cool. So she put this down here. So 2017 tops Garbage Pail Kids Trumpocracy. Let's go back into the chat here. Well, let's do this. Devil horns appear above Trump's. See when that happened. I thought that was more recently. Whoa. Okay, so they were spoofing off of the Time magazine cover. Okay, got it. So nothing to see there. Okay, let's keep going, you guys. Let's see here. Where are we? Getting through these. All right, we got some more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This one's called The Big Zip Attack, Season 4, Episode 21. And that aired on 10/6/1990. Episode begins with Donatello showing off his automatic pizza dough maker machine. It goes haywire and Raphael calls it a secret weapon. April O'Neil is assigned to cover the grand opening of Lofty Towers. At 12 noon, there's concern about the tower being safe and jokes about it falling over. So this was long before 9/11. Sounds like there's going to be some 9/11 references here. There's then a Hydra poster on the wall. There's twinning here with these purple monsters called Zips divide into two when they eat copper. So these two monsters divide into two when they eat copper. Whoa. At the ribbon cutting ceremony, Shredder and crew arrive and interrupt the grand opening. Shredder starts cutting down the spire on top of Lofty Towers, which causes the whole tower to sway and almost fall. A giant zip creature saves the day, propping up the building with a radio tower. Look at that. Look at these shots. Whoa. Okay, next one. This is the real Ghostbusters. Deadcon 1, Season 2, Episode 49, aired 11/19/87. This is 9/11 backwards. 11/19 is 9/11 backwards. And 1987 was the halfway point to 9/11. Towers opened in 73. They fell down in 2001. Halfway there is 87. Let's see what she had to say here. J. Portman Plump at the ribbon cutting ceremony for his new convention center, Plump Towers. Two groups arrive for the grand opening. The AAAOH, American Association for Advancement of Oral Hygiene, and Deadcon, a group of ghosts. A storm rolls in just as the ghosts are arriving. Wow, so definitely some 9/11 connections there with the towers, Plump Towers. J. Portman Plump doesn't want the Ghostbusters destroying his hotel. He demands that they do this job without their proton packs. But when the ghosts capture Plump, the Ghostbusters grab their equipment and take action. The Dental Association was having a costume party and didn't realize the real ghosts had joined. And then there's this Lincoln-looking character here. next to a Native American and Mount Rushmore. Whoa, like a dead Lincoln. This could be the disembodied spirit that Trump shares. He keeps channeling Lincoln, and we found Trump on the ley line, the 66-degree ley line in D.C., shared by Lincoln Memorial, JFK's memorial site, and the place where Lincoln was killed, and Trump's arch. They all fall on that ley line. Let's keep reading here. The AAAOH, she did some number breakdowns here, adds up to 17. Ghostbusters save Mr. Plump and trap all the ghosts except for Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. The end. Part of this episode was later reused in Russian About as footage for the different convention. Interesting. All right. Let's keep going here. This one is Spy Magazine Presents How to Be Famous. This one aired on April 18th, 1990. An hour-long special hosted by Jerry Seinfeld and Victoria Jackson. Jerry discusses how celebrities are different from average people. Says their skin is so tan. Whoa, they have that celebrity X factor. But can it be isolated like a virus? That is strange. Wow. Throughout the entire presentation, Jerry keeps referring to poll numbers and percentages. Voting theme. So, absolutely foretelling the future. Tanometer, here it says. And it's the spy poll celebrity. This was all the way back in 1990. Twinning. Jerry showcases celebrity lookalikes and later shows photos labeled as separated at birth. Next is a segment on toupees that will keep working well in the 21st century. Then, Trump, the cartoon hour. Wow. This is nuts. Look at Trump with all his money bags. There's Trump Tower in the back of a limo. And his pointing thing that he does. He was doing that in the footage with Epstein, remember? Spy Magazine wondered, what if Donald Trump were to get his own Saturday morning cartoon show? Then shows a brief animated segment where a modern-day looking Trump uses his power finger to instantly build new structures worldwide with his logo on it. And this is exactly what he's done since then. Then there's a suspicious Lucy picture and a segment about celebrities putting out fake death rumors to gain publicity. And Lucy lived from 1911 to 1989. 9/11 there. Very last scene of the show, a brief interview asking if Donald Trump would attempt to sue Spy Magazine. Okay, go to the next one here. This one is Space Cats, and this aired 1991 and 92, only had one season consisting of 13 episodes. Space Cats come from the planet Triglyceride 7, stationed underground on Earth in a secret location. The show always begins with live action segment, puppet acting, where the Space Cats receive their next mission orders. The rest of the show is animated. So there's this cat theme again. Whoa, the date 2016 is on the television. That's the first year Trump was elected. He is the cat. Mysteriously Missing Guests. Episode 11 aired 11/30/91. Multi-billionaire Rockefeller Frump, who made his vast fortunes selling stolen hotel towels. So there's Trump with a cat. The Space Cats are disguised as hired help at a dinner party trying to uncover the mystery of all the guests that go missing at Agatha Tonsil's dinner parties. Frump is one of their guests. Let's go to the next one. Another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now remember, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and all these appearances of Trump, this has to do with the pizza, the underground sewer, child trafficking, and all that stuff. Okay. Raphael meets his match, season 4, episode 15. This one aired in 1990 on September 15th. The turtles eat a disappointing pizza from McDonald Crump's Picka Pecka Pizza, multi-million-dollar fast food chain. Raphael wins a trip for one of Crump's birthday costume party cruise celebrations on his yacht. So it says one free pass. Let's make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Sorry. One free pass on McDonald Crump's Moonlight birthday party. And there it is on the dock. Okay, let's see here. Twinning. Again, this is a recurring theme. Trump is a Gemini. Several people dressed up as Ninja Turtles for the Halloween costume cruise. Also notice the Batman costume, which we've associated with Trump before. April O'Neil is on board interviewing Crump for the event. Notice his orange bandana. So this is the Crump character. Mad scientist Dr. Phineas Filch captures the crew's boat. Says if anyone tries anything, they'll be thrown to the sharks. The turtles come to the rescue, and Crump is so grateful that he says he'll make all 4 turtles vice president of his pizza restaurant. Wow. Next one. This looks like, let's see, what is this? The Rugrats. So, looks like season 1, episode 6, Ruthless Tommy in Moose County. This aired on 9/22/91. Being mistaken for the son of millionaire Ronald Thump, Tommy is kidnapped by some thugs, Bob and Mike. The thieves soon find that kidnapping Tommy is more trouble than they thought it would be. After hearing Grandpa's mythical story about a moose, the babies go look for one in the backyard. Season 1, episode 6, Ruthless Tommy. They only verbally reference Thump. He doesn't actually make an appearance. 2 criminals kidnap Tommy, mistaking him for Ronald Thump's child. They had the wrong address. Stu and Diddy Pickles live at 1258 North Highland, according to Wikipedia. They were looking for house number 66. Whoa. So, remember, Trump would go on to win 58 and 66. What am I talking about? He won the 58th presidential quadrennial election and the 66th presidential quadrennial election. This is why he numbered Trump Tower, which only has 58 stories. He numbered it so it has a 66-floor penthouse where he lives, because he already knew. Let's keep reading here. Donald Frump is a white elephant that appears at a party at the Big Head house that appears only in the comics. So this says, so Mr. Frump, he says, please call me Donald. So the Donald, tell me more about my eyes. They're as green as a crisp new C note. So it looks like he's with some kind of a frog. Whoa. In the Rocko's Modern Life comic book series, Donald Frump is Mr. Big Head's boss. An elephant is a well-known symbol of the Republican Party. And this all came out in 1994. All right, we got a few more. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles again, 1987. This one came out on October 13th, 1990. Dr. Polydorius creates the first man-fish hybrid with his evolution accelerator. He names him Ray and tasks him with setting up explosives in the sewers all over New York City with plans to detonate the bombs and bring the entire city down under water. At the grand opening of the new Donald J. Lofty condominiums buildings, April O'Neil is nowhere to be found. Donald J. Lofty arrives by helicopter for the big event. April was captured by Ray, brought to the science lab, and turned into a fish girl. The turtles rescue her and only have 15 minutes to finish disarming the bombs. Look at that time on the clock. 45, that was his first presidency. And 4 and 5 is 9. And then there's 11, so it's 9/11 backwards again. One bomb goes off, sinking the condos into the water. Wow. Ducktales. Blue Collar Scrooge, Season 3, Episode 11. This one aired on 11/9. Another 9/11 backwards. This was 1989. Scrooge McDuck is ironing out a deal to sell his skateboard factory to an overseas competitor named Mr. Trump Card. And look at his nose is a pig. Scrooge was building a cash castle. Like Trump Tower? Question mark. When the castle fell apart, his assistant said, "That's the way the economy crumbles." Scrooge slipped on an out-of-control skateboard, landed in a dirty stream, and got amnesia. So the dirty stream could be a swamp. Twinning. Scrooge had amnesia, so his assistant dressed up as him to finalize the deal with Mr. Trump Card. Trump Card noticed something was off and asked if he was feeling under the weather. So notice the twinning theme again. It's consistent. Got about 5 more, you guys. Let's check in with you guys and we'll get into this last one here. This one's called the Halloween Door, the Real Ghostbusters. Let me check with you guys, make sure we're okay. And then we'll do a summary at the end or whatever, and get back into some of this stuff and see if you guys have any questions about it or anything I might have missed. Okay, let's keep going. Let's finish these up here. The Halloween Door, the Real Ghostbusters. This was Season 5, Episode 12, aired on 10/29. This was just before Halloween, 1989. On October 31st, Peter mentions that he's taking a date to a party at Donald Trump's place after they appeared a Halloween gig at a local school this afternoon. Then Dr. Crowley and his assistant, Fairweather, approached the Ghostbusters to hire them for a job to eliminate and eradicate Halloween from the entire city. Ghostbusters unhappily decline the offer. Slimer chases them away. At the school Halloween dance, they sing a song about old magic. Fairweather stole a PKE meter on his way out, which they needed to complete their electronic positronic anti-Halloween machine. They turn the machine on. It eradicates all signs of Halloween in town, which causes an earthquake and then a portal to open up in the sky of New York City, releasing demons from the other side. Removing Halloween from existence broke a 2,000-year-old contract. The demons agreed to stay on the other side as long as they were remembered once a year. The demons take over the city. Whoa. And what makes this interesting is that portals open during Samhain. The 5th of November is the last date of Samhain, but it starts as early as Halloween. So we decoded this, I believe, on this channel. We decoded this episode. Let's keep reading here. Crawley, watching the machine fire up for the first time. This is him here. Here's the machine. Looks like a giant eye, which is a portal. We know that. Presidential alert on TV declaring an emergency. I'll Take Man. This is a reference to I'll Take Manhattan, a book and movie that briefly features Trump. Well, I didn't know that. There's some Twin Towers symbolism here. A young girl pretends to have ghost busting equipment and says she wants to help. The Ghostbusters take her to the head demon in charge, Boogaloo. Ghostbusters say that Halloween does still exist, with the girl role-playing as a Ghostbuster, and state that the contract is not broken. All the demons get sucked back into the portal. So, here is Spider-Man and his amazing friends, the Fantastic Mr. Frump. Season 1, Episode 3, aired on 9/26/1981. This is a really old one. Peter's dog falls down the steps trying to take an umbrella to him. Remember, umbrellas are synonymous with the needle. Remember Donald Trump? Remember a man named Trump in the track down Western from 1958? He was selling umbrellas and built a wall. Let's keep going. Peter and his friends walk by just as Mr. Frump is being fired from his job. So he gets thrown out, it looks like. Now, we did decode this episode too, as well. Let's keep reading. Mr. Frump finds a magical amulet on the ground and soon realizes it gives him special powers. He wishes for nice clothes and orders a storm to be gone. Dr. Doom finds and befriends Frump to manipulate him in hopes of getting the amulet back. So he basically gets riches and turns into a superhero. And then makes a deal with Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom tells him to eliminate Spider-Man and friends, but the monster Frump attacks Aunt May, so he turns into Wonder Frump, the most powerful superhero in the world, causes an earthquake to take down the monster and save Aunt May. In the end, Dr. Doom tricks Frump, has him conjure up a storm which allows Doom to get his amulet back, and everyone else gets amnesia. Okay, we got about 4 more. This is Alf. This is from 1988. Now, 88's a pivotal year because that's the time travel number. We already know what 22 means, right? 88 minus 66 is 22. We figured that out. So let's see what happened in Alf in 1988. Starts off with a game of chess. Alf gets a phone call from a blind friend in need. Her apartment is being turned into condos. She has no place to stay. Alf invites her to come live with the Tanner family. So Biff Tannen. Whoa. When Alf goes to stay with his friend in her new apartment, he finds a Braille book. Says it must be a connect the dots book. Alf is signaling to the viewer to connect the dots here. Alf is hungry. He calls for a pizza delivery. And he says to charge it to Donald Trump. Twin Tower symbolism here with these glasses on the counter. His friends hand him 2 glasses, ask him to set the table. Alf accidentally knocks one over and says he'll clean up the glass that just spontaneously exploded. The quote, spontaneously exploded. So that's Twin Towers symbolism of the towers coming down. Alf labels the place with words like sight words, how you teach little kids to read, for his blind friend that can't see. This feels oddly reminiscent of a teacher in a classroom teaching kids sight words on a fateful day in September. Remember it? Kite hit plane steel. Alf is leaving to go back to life with the Tanner family. Before he goes, his friend gives him her Braille book so he can learn to read Braille. Okay, got a couple more here. This is the Toon Adventure. This is the one we covered as well, so we did cover this one. Tiny Toon Adventures, Season 1, Episode 57. No, we did not cover this one. Pollution Solution. This one aired on February 14th, Valentine's Day, 1991. Cartoon consists of 3 standalone stories. No deposit, no return of the trash bag dispenser. This character ends up in a boxing ring wearing a diaper. Jungle Bungle is the next one. It's got a global warming theme. Montana Max trying to sell beachfront property. Babs and Buster Bunny head to the rainforest to find Ronald Grump destroying trees to make elevator buttons. Once they gain control of this big machine and threaten to destroy his home, he repents and starts planting trees. And then the third one, Waist Deep in Wacky Land. Whoa, look at that. There's some Twin Tower symbolism right there. These pillars. And there's the checkerboard Illuminati floor. What year was this? This was 91, so long before the towers fell. Let's read. Montana Max is introducing his 100% pollution-free factory, but it's later revealed that all the waste is actually being dumped into Wacky Land. Max is brought to trial in Wacky Land, sentenced to a beheading, but repents and agrees to clean up his mess. Okay. 2 more. Alf Tales. So this is the cartoon, Alf. This is Season 2, Episode 3. This aired in 1989. The Elves and the Shoemaker. I don't see any notes on this, but they're just screenshots. Let's look through some of them. Oh, here we go. Donald Trump. He's the shoemaker. And there he is. And look at the stock market plunging. What is this? Whoa. Don't really know. There's no notes on this one. Here's some more tramp clams. And tramp again. Impartial Mediators Federation, IMF. IMF could be, isn't that the Israeli military force? Whoa. Here's screenshots from this. Here's him as a bat, looks like. All right, here's the last one. Now, we covered this one as well. Gosh, we covered quite a few of these. I think most of these leads came from Katie, which is why we covered these in detail. I know for a fact we covered Ronald Grump from Sesame Street. This one got hit with copyrights, though. A lot of it was blocked, but I think it's still on the channel. Sesame Street episode 2399 aired in 1988. Ronald Grump convinces Oscar the Grouch to give up his property to allow Grump to build a 2-story condominium called Grump Tower in its place. Episode 4104, season 36, aired in 2005, a parody of Celebrity Apprentice show featuring Muppet Donald Grump. Here's a quote from a song that they sing. No wonder Grump can have my vote. So they're already, preconditioning people to vote for Trump. Here's some screenshots of Ronald Grump. The Donald Trump Muppet below was originally supposed to appear in this same episode as a taxi driver. Okay, so there's some taxi synchronicities that we've been covering as well. Sesame Street All-Star 25th Birthday, Stars in Streets Forever, aired on May 18th, 94. Joe Pesci stars as Ronald Grump. He's come to demolish Sesame Street and build Grump Tower. Julia Louis-Dreyfus plays the role of the reporter Kathy Lee Cathy, and has a scene speaking with Kathy Lee Gifford. That's the twin symbolism. And there's Ronald Grump. Wow. Joe Pesci. So that's it, you guys. Now, let's go back into the chat. If you enjoyed today's show, Katie also sent me an honorable mentions list, which is much shorter. But if you guys want me to cover that tomorrow, we will cover that. Or if you want to move on to other things, we can move on to other things. I never know how receptive people are going to be to these kinds of shows. So I'd like to ask you guys what you want to see. And I'll go ahead and do a poll. Would you like tomorrow's show to be about honorable mentions of Trump in animation? And then we can answer any questions for about 10 minutes. What a trip. So some of you remember some of these episodes. So that's interesting. Okay. Have you had any military flyovers or drones in my area recently? No, I haven't. But leading up to the attack on Iran, I did see a lot of activity above my house. But not lately. I think everything's been deployed already. I think they were, building up to it before it happened months and months ago. So some of you like the maps. Casino is a great movie. Break down the movie Strange Brew. Please offer phone calls. We used to do those years ago. I don't know if I even know how to do that anymore. All right. So it looks like about 8 out of 10 of you want us to do the honorable mentions tomorrow. Now, of course, since there are far less honorable mentions, I'll mix tomorrow's show up with other things. I'm sure there's other things we can cover. There are some headlines we can get into as well. But I think that was a pretty exhaustive, review of all of the cartoon appearances of Trump. That is just crazy. The synchronicities are off the charts. All right, you guys, I guess we're going to pop off of here. Appreciate you and love you very much. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care, everybody.